All right, it's been a while since I've been caught up with Berserk, and I love this series so much. So, time for a series review thoughts, spoiler free and spoilers. So, starting with spoiler free, like what is Berserk? You have probably heard of Berserk as this epic fantasy horror that is brutal, it is bloody, it's gratuitous, it pushes the boundaries, it goes too far sometimes, monstrous, and just pain. Yeah, all that's true, very much true. But at the heart of this series is the characters, specifically Guts, but all of the characters, what they struggle through, how they survive, how they persist in such a brutal world, and how they continue to endure and deal with trauma, psychologically focus on them, their mentality, as they cope with what they've been through, as they lean on other characters, as they grow in strength in different ways. And it is absolutely intense and beautiful. These characters feel real. Their arcs feel real. What they go through, how they change, how they lean on each other, how they grow to trust or distrust other characters, how far you will go for your ambition, for love, for survival. It is honestly a phenomenal character exploration, and just the themes that it tackles are done beautifully. I was hooked more or less from the beginning, from the pacing alone. Little lines of dialogue that seem to be poking at the fact that, oh, this is big, strong man being all dark and brutal. But there's something else here. What are you missing? It's opening those, it's pulling on those threads, making you be more engaged. Okay, what led a man to be like this? And then you have these vast pages, double page spreads of just white emptiness or darkness, and it's just letting the story breathe, letting those emotions come through for you to experience them yourself, rather than cluttering the page with so much detail. Sometimes there's a lot of detail. There's a lot of times that's a lot of detail. But the moments that are quiet, that lets the story breathe, for whatever you just experienced to just sit with you, was done phenomenally from chapter 1. I cannot praise the art, the story, and the characters enough. Yes, sexual assault is used way too much, in my opinion. Used at first to set up the world, the gratuitousness, the vile depravity, the risks, the fear, this world just being dangerous. Fine, we used that, but at a certain point, it felt repetitive, it felt overused, not a fan. Then, stupid, past Jessica, didn't know what she was going on with, is just like questioning why a character is being treated a certain way when every other character was allowed to explore their trauma, respond to it in different ways, to grow from it, to face it, and another character, they do something that I felt was unnecessary for it, and I didn't feel like the trauma was being treated appropriately. No, 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 no. This author knows how to deal with trauma. You get to the end, and it's like, this is perfect, this is beautiful, this could not have been done any other way. This is a magnum opus, phenomenal. This is the end we are working towards, and then you take the hope away from me. Crushing of hope is a good theme in Berserk. All right, going into, not spoilers, but a little bit more detail on why people love this, and it's going to be for the main character, Guts. I already said you're introduced to him as this brutal, edgelordy kind of character, but you see cracks in his armor. You see moments of humanity, and then as you see the tragedy that is his life, what he's been through, and yet he doesn't give up, to continue to press forward, how he, I don't want to say draws people to him, because he wants to push them away. His nature is for isolation, to protect himself, to kill and slash at anything that comes near him, because he doesn't know any other way to live to protect himself. But to understand that he can't do it alone, and to rely on others. That growth, oh my god. I'm going to just, don't take a shot every time I say expertly done. You're not going to survive this video. Unrelated to Guts, but I'm going to keep it spoiler free, characters' need for ambition, desire, what they will do to get that, and the path of blood that they will walk, the people they will trample over, the sacrifices they will make, the cast-sunk fallacies, like, I've already gone this far, what's a little further? And then there are ones who's like, I've already gone this far, I will go no further. It's, oh my god, it's beautiful. And a spoiler free, just to say, like, the cost of survival, the balance of darkness and light, of interpretation, of how you view somebody and things not being always what they seem. If you are even consider reading Berserk, I highly recommend you do, because it will live up to all expectations. I say the bad, the gratuitous, the bloody, the violence. Yeah, that's all there. Believe the trigger warnings. But also the humanity, the hope, the need to survive. and the exploration of trauma, 10 out of 10, phenomenal. Now we go into spoilers, because Berserk is incredible. Let's break this up by arcs. The Black Swordsman arc, we go with Guts walking into this village. He sees an elf being taken, being held hostage, going to be sold, whatever. And he is just decimating everything around him. Monsters are coming after him. He's shooting them with cannons. It is dark, it is bloody, and he seems to be completely heartless and ruthless. We go into the exploration of like nihilism and rage and isolation and what that has done to his psyche, with little moments like the hesitation of killing a child who's about to kill him, that there is still softness in his heart. There's still hope. There's still love. There's still something there. And we're just trying to see who he was before this moment and how he got to this point. We see, I want to say her name is Cassandra, and I'm still waiting for her to come back into the series, because she watches her father become one of the apostles as he has killed her mother. So many people, the betrayal he felt towards her mother, and then he lends him to seek power from the gods' hand, and they demand sacrifice. He's torturing the people of his kingdom, but he loves his daughter, and his daughter loves him, but she's isolated. She's in a cage. She's trapped in her room, and she sees him for who he truly is, and that breaks her, but she still loves her father. And her father, having gone so far in killing so many people around him and about to lose his own life unless he gives the gods' hand one final sacrifice, that of his daughter, he can't do it. He would rather die than give up his daughter. His daughter then watches Guts kill him, and she on the border of suicide, like she can't find reason to live anymore, and then instead Guts offers her, as she's falling on a cliff, his sword, reaching out to her, being like, take this. She grabs onto the sword, cuts her hand, and through pain, through anger, through violence, it gives her a purpose to live. The sadness was too much. I couldn't bear it. Rage was easier to feel, so I chose to feel that instead, and that giving her purpose to continue to live, vowing to kill Guts, our protagonist. From that moment on, but honestly, even before that moment, I'm pretty sure the snow scene where he's hesitated to kill a zombie child, but from that moment, I'm like, oh, this is doing something special with a need of survival, of trauma, of rage. Phenomenal. There is the beginning of conversations between man versus fate. You are fated to do this. This is your destiny. And Guts' refusal to accept that, to struggle against it. There is conversations of man versus monsters. There are these supernatural forces and creatures trying to take over Guts, to control him, and he swears to fight them as a human. And that is such a big deal throughout the series. And of course, isolation and alienation. Guts being alone. Alone is safety. He can survive if he just protects himself. But then we see what led him to this. He had people he cared about. He had people that he loved and lost. And the pain of losing them turned him into this monster seeking revenge for what happened to them. We meet Guts at his absolute lowest in The Black Swordsman. Well, okay, things get progressively worse from him. We meet him at a very low point. And then we are introduced to Puck, my angel, the light of Berserk. If Guts is showing us like darkness, Puck is the light. He is optimistic. He is funny. He has short-term memory loss sometimes. And he is the fairy that just brings humor and levity to Berserk. If it was all dark and gloom all day, every single chapter, you'd grow numb to it. You need this light to balance out the darkness, and I love Puck and feel he does that perfectly. He's comedy gold. Then you have arguably what some people claim to be the best of Berserk, the Golden Age arc saga. And I respect that opinion, but again, I love every arc for different reasons, so I can't say this one is the best. It is probably the most iconic. And it sits with you, and it haunts the narrative going forward. Everything that happens afterwards can be tied back to moments in this arc, whether it is the characters, whether it is the themes, whether it is the fallout and consequences of what is set up in the Golden Age arc. We learn Guts' history. We see him born from a corpse. We see him raised by mercenaries. We see him assaulted as a child. We see him growing up on the battlefield. strength is the only way to survive. We see him clutching a sword for protection. When he is assaulted, we see him reaching for that sword and being unable to get to it, trying to defend himself. We see him hunting down his attacker. We feel these emotions. It is brutal. It is unapologetic. It is just harsh, and he survives it. We see how this shapes him as a character. We see how it haunts his dreams. And then, as he has completely put his shield around himself to not let anyone in, we see him meet the Band of the Hawk. We see him meet Griffin. We see him open up. We see Griffith being this light, this angel, this almost holy person that is drawing people towards them, that their own dreams are secondary to his. They want to achieve his goal. He wants a kingdom. He wants the world. And people are just drawn to him. Guts' lack of dream, his want to survive, but nothing surpassed that, makes him want to grow as a person to be worthy of standing next to Griffith. He wants his own dream. He wants his own story. He wants his own narrative. And Griffith's control, his narcissism, his need to possess and own is then fractured as he begins to spiral. And it leads us to the eclipse, where again, we see Guts lose everything. We had him at his happiest, surrounded by caring people. We see him set his sword down and just enjoy the camaraderie, and to lose it all in the most brutal method possible, for his love to be taken away from him, assaulted in front of him, unable to protect her. Again, Griffith just wanting control and power and dominance over everything around him. And when he thought his goal was out of reach, he will seize any opportunity to continue forward to achieve his goal, no matter what he has to do. Oh my God, the Eclipse, Golden Age, flawless. Obviously, the character arcs, how they change, how they grow, the decisions they make, flawless. I apologize for my thoughts of Judo. That was my bad. Sorry. Going into the conviction arc, as we learn more about the God's Hand, the mythology, religious elements gets added in. I was surprised with how much I love the Lost Children's arc, because it is a dark fairy tale. Innocence corrupted and trauma, and I don't usually respond well to dark fairy tales. It's just not something it's not the vibe I like, but it worked so well. I loved every moment. To see characters in terrible situations thinking that like it's better on the other side and wanting to get to it, and it only be worse. Can you go back to where you've been? Jill being the perfect character, as she is torn between, like, is Guts a hero or is he a monster? She's seeing him from both sides. Rosalie, something like that. What Guts can become if he gives into complete violence and anger and just the apostle side of things. But she still had her reasons for why she became what she did. The people that were hurt, the monster that is these cute little fairies. Guts' isolation from humanity still, but seeing Jill and knowing that she has the chance of a better life and wanting that for her, not to be swept up in the darkness that is his life. Was it the Binding Chain arcs where you got religious imagery and trauma and the church crushing innocent people that they view don't fit their narrative of this is how God says you should live, everyone else is a heretic, how it can go too far, the extremism, Casca's involvement and how she gets wrapped up into everything. The hypocrisy of this religious organization as they just want to use the name of whatever religion they're following to exert control and dominance over others. Farnese is probably the character that I felt had the most abrupt character arc, but I mean, she's seen a horse that turned into a weird facey thing and tried to assault her. I mean, she's allowed to have a quick character change arc. To go from religious zealot and truly believing everything a church is saying, and then like some kind of weird sexual exploitation from the repression that led to whatever she's got going on in this arc. And then her backstory and history. Growing from all that to really believing and getting pleasure from prosecuting and torturing heretics to becoming what she would have viewed as a heretic herself, into magic, into understanding of the world as a whole, how we're all connected, and wanting to protect others now. How she's seen a child being starved to death, being killed, and thinking that this is what God would have wanted, only to come out the other side and realizing there is a better way, a better path to follow. Yeah, she grew on me by the end. Honestly, I think the conviction arc had some of my favorite characters. Specifically, was it Luca? She is a prostitute who is caring for others. She knows that if she raises too high, there's going to be people who want to strike her down. And she genuinely cares about people, whether they're sick, whether they're impoverished, whether they're unable to protect themselves because Casca is in a mental state where she cannot care for herself, or whether it's Nina who betrays her. She's not afraid to like slap somebody in the face, but she is a shining light in Berserk. Again, you have all this darkness, you have all this evil, but there are good people struggling to survive, making the best out of their situation, just living and doing the best for others. And just because others do bad to them, just because other situations are horrible, doesn't mean they become a horrible person to give into that evil. They are just good and strong, and I love her so much. Even Nina, she's just a complex character. She is sick. She got some disease. She's willing to go into some evil cult. She gets scared. She betrays people. She is jealous of Luca. It's like, you are just perfect and good. Why can't I be that? And then the hatred she feels, the love and hatred in equal balance. I just felt her character was so interesting. She is selfish. She is a coward. She wants to do better. She just fails at it. When her life is at stake, she won't risk it for someone else. And you watch her grow and change and just want better for her. I know a lot of people hate her. I like her. I want to see her back. And then from there, we see Guts taking responsibility for Casca. Oh, I didn't even talk about the broken sword. He spent so much time out seeking violence and vengeance, he lost sight of what was important to him. In pursuit of anger and hatred and rage, he was turning himself into a monster, when really he had to deal with the grief. He had to face the consequences. He had to move forward, be with the people left who loved him. And that can be harder than facing everything on your own, blinded by rage. To stay and choose to be with Casca, to protect her in her current state. And then the monster that is still within him that he cannot overcome, he can't protect her alone. He can't be the sword and the shield. He'll burn himself out. He will fail. If he dies, Casca dies. When before, he didn't care about his own life. So he accepted, he opened up his heart a little bit. He trusted others. And now he has this new family, different than the Band of the Hawks, but unique and loving in its own way, that can protect each other, can help him, that he has to protect now, that's made him vulnerable again, but made him a better person and more likely to protect Casca. We see him heal through these bonds that he is forming. We see the humanity coming back into him. We see magic in this world not as demonic, but as light and love and protection and the beauty of it, the spirituality of it. We see Griffith's transformation as he was this human personification of what is light and good and the perfect soldier warrior and all the evil stuff that he was willing to do to get to the top. He is now reborn, and people are having dreams of him going to a greater tomorrow, but he has no humanity left. And him just being like, I'm so torn with Griffith, because yeah, evil, I'll never forgive him, terrible, unexcusable things, but it's like now he's trying to protect and remake the world better. Like, you're the one who broke it, okay? We can't trust you, but he's the only option that a lot of people have. It's so interesting. But it all comes full circle with the Fantasia arc as we get to the location that we have been driving towards all this time, wanting to help Casca, to fix her, to get her minds back. And we have to go into her dreams, into her spirit, her memory, her mind. And we see her as a fractured doll. And a dog representing Guts, because she does trust and believe that Guts would protect her, is trying to piece her back together. And he's already put so many pieces back, but he can't do it alone. So Shirka and Farnazi have to help to protect her, to get all the pieces. And this last piece that you would break mentally from the trauma of the eclipse, from those memories, but to be fully healed, you have to face it and conquer it, and it needs to be a part of you. So they put it back in to bring her fully back to consciousness, but then she still has moments where she remembers the eclipse and it breaks her. It is so well done. I was upset with how Casca was treated after the eclipse. I get her being completely broken, but I would have so rather watch her comes to terms with the fact that the person that she idolizes, that she respects, hurt her, made her vulnerable, took advantage of her, used her for his own benefits just to hurt someone else that she loved. I wanted to see her come to terms with that. So I was very upset for so long, her just being this nothing character that everyone had to protect. But to see everything from her eyes again and have to be pieced back together after the supernatural trauma. We already witnessed Guts going through the trauma after he was assaulted, how he responded to it. We know how Griffith responded, selling his own body, thinking that this could save some people, this would get him what he needed to get to his end goal, and how he felt unclean and was scratching his arms as he's trying to clean himself. We've seen different versions of trauma, even other characters throughout the series. So the piecing back together of one's mind and mentality step by step, piece by piece, and that last fragment just being cursed, you think you want to leave it out, but you have to put it back in. It's different, it's perfect, it's phenomenal. And then we have Guts, who has gone from anger to protector, avenger, and then broken. Where we are right now in the story, he is just devastated, broken, and I believe we have to go inside his own mentality, rework and reposition some things. He's got to make peace with the darkness inside of him. He's got to realize he can still fight, that this isn't hopeless, because right now he's definitely hopeless. The story is incredible. I don't know when it's ever going to be completed. I don't know if it's ever going to reach the hype that it had in the past, but I'm so excited to continue with this series. The exploration of trauma, the characters, the character arcs, and just the need to put one foot in front of the other and keep going no matter how bad things were that got behind you. I love Berserk so much. That's all I got. I will talk to you later.